Well, it's a beautiful Tuesday night, and welcome back to this week's episode of KC Grid Talk. As always, my name is Kaleb Vieska. Joining me here today, as always, I should say, the one and only Alexander Searle and Emory Lida, my esteemed co-host. Boys, I know we were off, I guess, to a late start today, 8 minutes late, or 11 now with the time, but we were having some technical difficulties with some of our guests. We got it all sorted out, and they're super excited to come on, but before they do, we had a great weekend this past weekend. All of us were back in the KC booth and working. Alex in a little bit of a different range, but the Stars Championship Series got wrapped up. Talk to me, boys, about what you guys thought about the weekend. Alex, we'll go with you first.
Great weekend of racing. I mean, whenever we go to Trackhouse, it's always great action, and we're under the lights, so you get sparks, and sparks are cool. So that was awesome. Um, on the pro shifter side of things, I mean, AJ did AJ Myers things, and walked the field a little bit, but we still have some good battles further back with Musgrave, with Conquer. Ian Quinn showed out for Burrell as he has all season long. And then on the OKN side of things, I mean, we saw a pretty good duel, I think, with Massimino and Ramos. If you look at that race, actually, and speaking with Diego after the fact, I think if roles reversed, I think Diego wins that race in the championship, just because the aero wash was really hurting him in the first half of that race. But either way, Pauly did exactly what he needed to do, and Diego put on a great show. I think the one that I was the most bummed out for was probably Terlecki, because he entered that weekend pretty decent chance at the top three of the championship, and I believe he
Yeah.
ended up in fourth. And just the pace was never really there for Nick. I think throughout the heat races it was okay, but in the feature race it fell off pretty early. But overall, great weekend of racing. I mean, from KAs to the minis to the micros, um, awesome.
Yeah, Emery.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a great weekend for racing. First off, before we get going, I just want to correct Caleb. It is not a beautiful Tuesday night here in North Carolina. It's been raining basically ever since you guys left. Like
Hey,
torrential,
it's beautiful in College Station right now. I
torre-
can't lie.
torrential downpours. Part of me is like, why couldn't we have this for the racing on Saturday night? But then part of me is like,
Yeah,
teardown would have sucked. So no, it was a good weekend. A lot of good racing. I think on the pro show side of things, certainly OKN delivered. Like you guys mentioned, Diego, if roles were reversed, likely could have had a good shot at the championship. But as it is, Pauly, with some really good results in the heat, put himself in that position to have the best chance of the main event. And it also really showed the importance of heat racing, because
Yeah.
if one of those motos goes one spot difference for Diego Ramos, he wins the championship. 2.5 points is all he would have needed to take away the title. So for him to be able to come that close and yet so far away from the championship, I'm sure it's something the Red Army will be a little bit upset by, but certainly it was a good season. Okay, and to walk into the championship finale with 5 drivers having a shot at the championship, it really was great to see. On Nick Terlecki's side, like Alex mentioned, certainly will be the one to be most bummed out. Actually ended up 6th in the championship after a DQ after
you're
the
right.
race for
Yeah.
Yeah.
something on the washer with. So it's not a good weekend for Terlecki, to say the least. To end up 6th in the 5-person championship is not what you want after leading for most of the year. But for year
Yeah.
2 of OKN, the championship battle went down to the wire. The racing was good. We got a great story with Pauly winning a championship, his first pro national championship at his home track. And, you know, pro stars, pro OKN, it delivered on AJ's side of things. It was awesome to see, as you see the awesome championship graphic there with Pauly Massimino as the OKN Stars champion. You can see his face in the background, which I think is kind of a cool
Yeah.
side bit to it. But
Yeah.
I think we got 2 good stories out of the weekend, 2 good deserving champions in Pauly Massimino and AJ Myers.
Yeah, so again, Pauly Massimino, your OKN Stars champion, and AJ Myers, your Pro Stars champion. But when you move on to this week, we're back in Texas, thankfully, after I think it's been 3 weeks. We go to Amarillo Kart Complex, which is what this episode is about this weekend. I know you boys are laughing, but I'm glad to be back at our
Yeah,
home state of
I think
Texas.
I'm laughing at the same thing.
Oh,
It's
man.
we
It's
can
not
we
funny.
could see one of our guests, like, I don't know. I don't know what Buddy's laughing about, but it's so funny
Yeah.
to me.
All
Oh,
right,
man.
he's about to come on, but we gotta, I guess, set the stage for
Yeah, with
these
this
guys,
dude.
set the grid here for this. The KA Senior Championship points leader, Jesus Vasquez Jr., going to join us on now. He leads ahead of Aden Rudolph. Both of those drivers, and both of their respective team owners are going to be on with us as well. I think without further ado, Buddy looks excited to come on, and so does Tim. We're going to have Buddy on. Welcome to the show, Jesus. As always, good to have you on, dude. How are you doing? And Tim as well. How are you guys doing? Buddy, we'll start with you first. What have you been up to today, dude?
Hanging out with a friend of mine, and yeah, nothing really much other than that. I'm doing pretty good.
That's good. Tim, I know we struggled to have you on, or I guess to get your audio working.
Sorry, everybody listening. Sorry, it's my fault. I'm terrible at this. Pen and paper, maybe walkie-talkie would have been better for me. Buddy, relax, buddy. Relax, buddy.
Yeah, we were so. I guess a little bit of background insight. We were trying to get Tim's microphone working before the show. Jesus was no help to it all, and just laughing at Tim the whole time. So we kicked him out for like a little bit, and then we brought him back on. And yeah, this kid, he's been so unserious on the lead up, but he's gonna have to get serious here because we got some very, very important questions coming up. I guess you're not very, very important. I don't want to get you guys nervous, but regardless, Tim, we'll start with you here. I want to take you back to, I guess, a couple of years ago. You know, you started your team back up with Trackside Karting Services, GFC. You know, with the, I guess, took a chance on a new brand, and it's been good for you ever since. I think this year's the most numbers that you had. It seems like your 10 is always kind of jam packed with people, and you know, it's always good. And I know Austin's there to help, as well as a lot of other people. Talk to me about, I guess, the growth of your team over the past 2 years, and since you, I guess, restarted the team with GFC.
Yeah, it's been a great growth. I put a lot of faith in Gary Carlton, and the product's been amazing. Everybody's up front. The carts are easy to work on. I have focused mainly on the 206 program for a long time. And then we got into the KA program at the end of last year, and we got an addition with the rookie Landon Skinner coming on. Preston Pico came over. We did a race with Tyler Roberts at the end of last year at the IKF Grands, and he enjoyed Austin Garrison's coaching, so he was able to switch over. Obviously, we have Jackson Young with the KA program. It's just been, once we got into the 2-cycle side of things, it's been easy for us to be up front, and that was the one side we didn't focus on, or that I didn't focus on myself. I really focused on the 206, just a regional, local engine program. It's fairly inexpensive, but like I said, once we got into the KA program, it's just been people been up front, and I enjoy the growth. It's a lot of work, but we have a great group of people behind us, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the coming weekend. It's going to be intense.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you actually find yourself in two championship battles, I guess, this weekend. You find yourself in one with Reagan Seville in 206, and then another one here with Jesus. How are you feeling, I guess, for this weekend? I know it could be, I think, your first two senior regional championships for you and your team.
Yes, sir. So we are actually going for 6. We're 206 cadet, 206 junior, 206 senior, 206 heavy, KA junior, and KA senior. Hopefully I didn't forget anybody there. But it can all fall apart, or it can all be amazing. So we'll cross our fingers and see what happens. But to lead going in with Buddy in our first year, really pushing the KA senior program. Yeah. I can't ask for anything better than going forward. This is, I believe, Reagan's first time, obviously first year in senior 206, but this is his first time he has to really race the last race of his season. He usually has wrapped up the championship by now. So we're going in with Buddy leading. We're going in with Reagan behind. So we will, again, cross our fingers and see what happens. But,
yeah, and just wishing you guys the best of luck as well for the weekend. And I guess moving on here to Buddy. I guess your story in Texas Regional Racing Action is a little bit different to Tim's. You know, Tim's been around for quite some time. You actually came over last year on what was supposed to be, from my understanding, talking to your dad, was a getaway trip for you and your dad racing in Odessa. And I would say, that was your first taste of Texas regional racing action. You did pretty good that weekend, finished on the podium if I'm not mistaken, and then you came back for a full year this year. So talk to me, about the decision to come over here and start to race last year, and what kind of led you guys to want to race this entire year this year in 2024.
Yeah, last year was just like you were saying, like a getaway for me and my dad, because with his business, he's always busy, and he doesn't really get that much time off. And then we saw the Texas series running, and we're like, you want to go? Like, we can do a road trip. And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And we end up going, and great series, ran great by Tim's wife, and we really enjoyed it. The track wasn't what we expected, but it was a really odd track. But the people there were just really good people, and it's just a whole new field of competitors, which is cool too. And then after the first round, we decided to come back and run the last round, and really try to win it this time. And we went and pretty much dominated the whole entire weekend. And then that's when Tim came in and offered me a seat to run this whole entire year, and I was like, yeah, let's take it.
Yeah, and I guess now to find yourself in, the championship points lead coming into this, final round. For you, buddy, I guess your lowest finish, I think, on the year has been a third. You won at Speed Sports, and then you won, obviously, I think 2-3 weeks ago at DKC on what was a great race all the way to the end. So I guess talk to me about the position that you kind of find yourself in coming into the final round. Did you expect to be here after, only having 2 rounds last year, and then on how the year's kind of been so far this year?
Yeah, I haven't really looked too much at the point, or I try not to focus about that stuff. Me and my dad have talked about it. We're kind of just going to this race. We're not really focusing on the championship. Of course, that's at the end of the day, that's what we want, but we're focusing still on just winning the race.
All right, Tim, I want to start with you here. I'm going to keep it fairly simple. Buddy's a pretty goofy dude. Does he keep you young under the tent? What's it like with Buddy under the tent?
Well, I'm going to be serious here for a second. I don't see him. He leaves. I don't know where he goes. Maybe to go call his girlfriend. He comes back. I give him a high five, and he's gone. So I either see his dad more, or last race we had Morgan, which was awesome. He was there cleaning the go-kart. I really don't know what Buddy does all day. Honestly.
He doesn't clean his own go-kart?
No.
Buddy, why not? What were you doing
just helping. I wrote something on the axle. That's what I did.
Hard at work, huh?
Well, we didn't change anything on the go-kart.
So what do you do? If Tim's saying you walk away, where do you go?
To lunch.
I was just
he
in
goes
the
to lunch
because it was so hot.
Yeah.
Most of the time was spent in the trailer last race.
Yeah, I guess Buddy, for you two guys as well, Buddy, I don't think has gotten acclimated to the Texas heat so far this year. I think, Tim, you can attest to this. 2 weeks ago, it was 112 degrees out in Dallas. We were both there for the test weekend. It was 112, 116, and then you get to the next weekend and it's pretty hot. And Buddy was telling me he just wasn't used to the Texas heat. Is it that much hotter down here, Buddy, than I guess what it is in California?
Yeah, right now it's 70.
Goodness gracious.
I don't know how hot it is or where you guys
are. 100. It's 100. It's 106 right now.
Yeah.
It's 106, buddy. Yeah.
He likes that Cali breeze. That's what he likes.
That's why they call him the Cali boy, or I don't know, California kid, whatever they call you, Buddy now.
Hey, I meant to ask you this when I noticed it at Speed Sports. I think it was USPKS this year, where I thought you didn't run a Micron, and then I looked at your onboard, and you shove your Micron on this mount inside your nose cone. Is there a reason why you do that?
My dad actually created a mount when I was in Mini Swift. And to be honest, with the Mini Swift steering wheel, because I was on the Ricardo kart, the steering wheel, like the little thing would go in between, and it was kind of hard to see the micron. But then we moved up and went to the like OTK, and it was like really nice and fits like really well in that little pocket, and you could see it like perfectly. But the whole reason behind it is just because my dad doesn't really like the wires, and me either. Like, you know, the wires on the steering wheel and stuff like that, it just looks so much more cleaner without all the wires going onto the steering wheel, plugging into the back of the micron and stuff like that.
I think it looks sick. I think it looks so cool.
Yeah.
I saw the onboard of you at
Yeah.
K1. I'm like, dude, this looks so cool. Like, I don't know. I thought it was honestly for when you're tucking your steering wheel. I don't know. Maybe you could just see your micron better. But that's it. I think it looks pretty cool. I thought
Yeah, I mean
honestly,
that too. You
aesthetic
could
thing.
definitely tuck and still see the micron.
Yeah. for
What'd
sure.
you think of? Because you're the first guy that we've really had on here besides I think Billy. What do you think of K1 circuit? It looks awesome to me.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice track. They're still building some things over there, but I mean, like in a KA, like just doing laps, like practicing, I feel like will kind of get boring because it's like, you know, it's a bunch of straightaways and nothing too like crazy. There's some hairpins, like some kind of braking zones, but a lot of it's just fast, full gas, you know. But I feel like when it comes to racing and your pack racing stuff like that, I feel like it should be pretty fun, or maybe just in a faster like category, like maybe like the OK or something like that.
I got you. And Tim, I'm gonna start off with you here. I mean, you know, you've mentioned that you kind of brought your program into the K and the two-stroke side of things this year, and almost instantly found success. I mean, between what Buddy's done in leading the championship in senior, you've gotten some good results with Landon. I mean, talk me through the process of building an operation that has been both successful on the four-stroke side and the two-stroke side, and kind of what are some of the challenges and I guess also benefits that come with kind of prioritizing both as opposed to maybe being like some other teams that just focus one side or the other.
Oof. So long time ago, with my father being the importer for Burrell MRP Motorsports, we did everything, cadets all the way to shifter. So I have some background in the two-cycle world, but I focused on the 206 just because, like I said before, it's way more affordable. It's still fun. You get 20 to 30 people. Getting into the KA program, putting yourself with the right people, getting the good engines, the GFC carts, easy to work. I said, easy to work on. I still think that the 206 is really, really fun, and it's user friendly and it's affordable. But people seem to think in the two-cycle world that they're winning the KA championship is way more important, or you get way more recognition than a 206 championship. And I don't think it's that way at all. So I needed to bring the team to show that we can actually compete and be up front in the two-cycle world. But it's just as hard to win the 206 championship than it is a KA championship. So I don't want to lose focus on the grassroots, the people that do have a budget, but we still want to focus. We want to focus on everybody. But for some reason, the karting world just seems to think that the two-cycle world is king, and I don't think that's right.
And so, I mean, you have all the success on the four-cycle part of things, and I want to ask you, like, do you kind of have any intentions of bringing more of your two-cycle drivers into the four-cycle or vice versa, or do you kind of leave it up to your own program to kind of isolate one or the other? Like, is that something? Because I know you've had some guys do double duty in the past, and you've seen some guys run both. But when you look at kind of building a team and building like numbers under the tent, like what's your kind of strategy when it comes to making sure that drivers have the right engine program that they want to run and run the right budget?
We're open to all engine builders, all categories, stuff like that. If I have a couple guys that, let's just say, want to go to USPKS next year, but me coming from Spring, Texas, is a long haul, so I have to make sure I have enough people under the tent to make it worth for everybody's money and time. We're going to go to the CKNA Grands with 12 drivers this year. I will go anywhere you want me to go. Just it has to be affordable for everybody under the tent. So hopefully that answers the question.
Yeah, and buddy, moving over to you. I mean, first off, I want to ask a bit on the championship side of things because you've been in this situation on a pretty large scale before, winning Pro Tour 2 years ago. You were really in a fight all season long on the junior side of things. But how much has your mindset kind of changed since that time 2 years ago? Like, have you approached each race differently, or is it kind of one of those things that is similar to where you were as a junior driver back in 2022?
Yeah, after winning that championship in junior, the Pro Tour championship, that definitely brought my confidence, skyrocketed after that one. And, it definitely brought, because before a lot of races, like I'd feel like I would get like kind of tense, but then after winning that, I feel like the tenseness, like, and stuff like that, like the nervousness kind of went away. And yeah, going into this weekend, I feel good. I feel confident for what me and my dad have, and Tim and GFC, the car I'm running, have. And yeah, I feel like we have a pretty good package going into this weekend. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how it goes down. New track, Amarillo. I haven't been there yet. It looks like a pretty nice long, like some long straightaway tracks. But yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, and I mean, this year's kind of been a year where you've had to go to different tracks and experience sort of new environments. I mean, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you'd been to Trackhouse certainly nowhere near as much as other people you're racing against. Dowsman, had you been to Kart Moto before that round in this year?
No, that was my first time being there. But yeah, that's another thing why I like doing this series, or just tracks, because being in Cali for so long and running those tracks over and over again, having like more than like 1,000 laps on every track over in Cali, just repeatedly running them kind of gets boring after a little bit, so it's cool to try something different. I definitely learn more going over here and driving these different tracks.
And how do you think that's kind of helped you as a driver, kind of getting that exposure to all sorts of different tracks? I mean, going from real short tracks to fast and flowing tracks like a Kart Moto, for example.
Yeah, no, I think it helps a lot because, at the end of the year, Supernats, no one really has good, like, you get a track and then you have to learn it as fast as possible. And that's why I like kind of going to new tracks and trying to learn them as fast as possible. So then it kind of like prepares me to go to Supernats or maybe like Rock Vegas, where no one's been on the tracks, and then I hit the track and I learn as fast as possible. But yeah, I think it's really good for me to come over to these tracks and, run and race against these guys.
Well, that's good to hear from you, buddy. And Tim, this question goes for the two of you guys. There's been some changes obviously being made to Amarillo Kart Complex. I know people have been busy, I guess, talking about it within, I guess, our Texas community, Tim. And then, Jesus, you pretty much don't count on this one, but I don't know if you heard about the changes made to Amarillo. They added a slow section. Tim, you obviously have seen that last section be being raced over the past year. What are your thoughts on the new, I guess, layout that they have? So again, this was just a left-hander, but they added the barriers there in between, which is almost like a hairpin. I'm excited to, I guess, hear your thoughts about this, Tim, and the changes being made to Amarillo.
Well, I haven't even seen the new. As much as I struggled to get this microphone and video thing working, that's how much problem I have with Facebook and all that stuff. So I don't. We're gonna find out when I get there. The track itself is great. I love the guys at Amarillo, Kyle and his brothers. Yeah. They've made a change. Somebody I don't know. It was a little sketchy, like the layout before, with how right next to those big poles and stuff like that. So we're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out tomorrow night Thursday morning when I get there. We're gonna see what it looks like.
Yeah, so I'm getting there tomorrow night, and again, I think the whole point of, I guess, the change to the track was to avoid somebody going head on into what was the poles that was, I guess, holding it from the grid, and it adds, I guess, the hairpin that goes right, and then longer straightaway, which is I guess slower speed going into it. Are you? Well, I guess you said you were going to find out. Jesus, you didn't race the old layout, but I guess it's going to be a change for you. So you're going to be on equal footing to everybody else. And it is, I don't know if you play F1 2020, whatever Istanbul is on, but if you have, it's obviously an exact replica of that racetrack. If I don't know what your thoughts are on it or the change at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the track, I've watched races go around. I mean, yeah, I heard it was like some replica of like some F1 track. I didn't really know which one it was, but yeah, that's like an actual turn that they have now in the track.
Yeah, so it's kind of like it's all opened up, and I think the barriers on the left hand side could actually be moved further to the left of the screen.
Yeah.
But again, the barriers are going to be there to avoid people from I think cutting through, like just completely blowing the corner, and making it go around. So it adds like it's kind of like a Supernats vibe to it with the barriers that are there. But it is a safer way, I guess, to make it to the straightaway without, having an injury like we had a couple of weeks ago.
It's got to add at least like 8 or 9 seconds to the layout from before, from the IKF.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, and I think that's another big thing too, that the lap time is going to be a little longer. Tim,
like a minute 45 now.
something like that. It was a pretty long lap. I think. This past year, it's like a 1:14. I think is that right?
It's long. Yeah, it's too. I think it's too long.
Yeah. So
it's just it's almost like a minute
104.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe with them, but with us it was probably 1:14. So.
That's so I guess any thoughts? I know you and Brittany have probably talked about it a lot too. So what was, I guess, her thought process on the track, or have you guys not even talked about the layout?
I want to make this public statement. My wife and I don't talk about anything to do with the series. I have nothing to do with the sponsors, the track dates, the rules, the tech men, nothing. And I honestly just found out whatever it was 2 minutes ago, like what they did to the track. I have nothing to do with it, and it has to be that way.
Yeah.
I don't make people run my official sticker kit. I don't make people run I don't have an official suit. Like I would really try to have it two businesses. So she does her thing and I do my thing. And every year I want her to sell it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of headache. She enjoys it. She enjoys putting events on, but I want to make it completely clear. We don't talk about that stuff at all. Yeah. I couldn't even tell you. I don't even know the dates next year until it comes out. So
they were released publicly though, like on Facebook. You're probably, I guess, you're not a busy guy on.
They're released now on Facebook. Okay, I guess I got off. Okay, I have to go on Facebook now and find out.
and it was like, Tim, I hope you know, it was hard to find a picture of you on Facebook that we could use for our thumbnail and whatnot. And of you and too, for that matter. Yeah, we were busy all morning, kind of looking for pictures of you, and then we found some off other people's social
media.
Buddy
too.
Yeah,
Buddy was.
If I could, I would use a flip phone if I could. So, give me the old Motorola, the walkie-talkie phone. I'll be fine.
Yeah, fair enough, man. Fair enough. Well, I guess to wrap this up for you guys, Tim, again, your first shot at two major senior championships in both of the senior classes. I guess what's your mindset coming into this weekend? And I know you guys have a big task at hand, like you said, with Seville behind and Jesus up ahead of the championship standings.
We're gonna win, just plain and simple. We're gonna go after it as far as we can with everything we got at it. I have a really strong feeling that we're gonna go with a chance to win with 6, and we're gonna come out with 6. If we lose, I'll probably close down. I won't be able to take it. I've got the best people behind me. I've got the best people behind me. I got the best customers, the best products, the best service. I don't know what else we can do. When we do lose, we go back to the shop and we regroup and we powwow and we figure out what happened. But I'm going into the mindset. If you don't go to the mindset thinking you're going to win, then then something's not right with your program. I don't go to the racetrack thinking I'm going to get third. We're going to go win, and we're going to pull off a miracle here with 6 and go party Sunday night. I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thanks for that. And I think boys that are, I guess, on the top row with me, that's exactly what we're going to clip for KC Grassroots this week to put on our, I guess, broadcast this weekend. So thanks for that, soundbite there. Tim, we appreciate it. And Jesus, I guess same thing goes for you. Mindset coming into this weekend. You're in the championship points lead on what's your first full year of running in Texas regional racing action. The floor is yours, my man.
Yeah, I'm going over there to not just win the championship, but to go win that race. I would say my main focus is on like winning the race more than, winning the race probably means you win the championship unless, I don't know, I have terrible heats or something. Yeah. But yeah, I try not to focus on the championship as much. I know it's in the back of my head though, definitely still, but I'm just really confident with what, I put together going in this weekend and what we have. And yeah, I feel like what we have is really good.
Well, there you guys have it from two of the Trackside Karting Services representatives this weekend. The GFC team that's going to take the fight to our next guests who are coming on later on in the show. But from Tim Lobaugh and Jesus Vasquez Jr., we thank you guys for joining us very much. We're going to take a quick commercial break, but you guys heard from team owner and driver as they get set to go head-to-head with the CRG Nordham boys in the KA senior class, and they're going to be on here in a couple of moments' time. So we'll take a quick commercial break. When we come back, they'll be on. So that was it from Tim Lobaugh and Jesus Vasquez Jr. We'll see you guys in a couple of moments.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you, Tim.
Thank you,
Jesus.
Thank you.
Colin, I need a new 219 chain. I need a 77 tooth roof sprocket. I need some more chain lube, and I need it probably as soon as tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, are you even listening? We need this to run this weekend.
Want anything else?
What do you mean?
I already got it in the car on Acceleration Kart Racing's online store, bro. All orders over $200 get free shipping.
Oh, throw in a set of tires.
Done.
Everything you need, all in one place and shipped to your door for free on orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Shop AKR.com.
Well, welcome back to the show here on this. Sorry about that, boys. Messed up the layout there. But welcome back to the show. And you guys heard there from Trackside Karting Services GFC team owner and team manager Tim Lobaugh there, as well as Jesus Vasquez Jr. And I mean, powerful statement to end it off. He, didn't leave anything on the table, said, we're going to go out there and we're going to win. And boys, I mean, you guys have had team owners in the past. How confident does it make you feel going into the final round of a championship when your team owner is that, excited about it and that willing to go out there and win?
I mean, look, if they didn't say that, if a team owner did not truly believe that they were going to win the race at their heart, then I would not want to drive for them. Plain and simple. And so, it's difficult to come into a championship battle and know that the other guys with you are just as good and have had almost the same amount of success, if not more, depending on the battle. But ultimately, I mean, if you don't have full confidence in the product and the guys that you hire to do data, to do wrenching for you, and ultimately the chassis that you run and the drivers you have, then you might as well not even show up to the racetrack in these kinds of battles. And I think, it was perfect it was a perfect statement from Tim. I'm sure that Jesus has a lot of confidence in the kart and himself and in the engine. And, I'd be shocked if our next guest didn't have the same mindset, even if they don't say it exactly the same way,
Yeah. Alex, anything to add before we let those boys in here in a couple of moments' time?
No, I agree. I mean, if anybody that you run for, whether it's, you're a privateer and it's just you and, family members, or it's you and your team owner, if you don't believe you're going to go win the race, then there's no point in showing up. So especially for a championship battle, I mean, it's got to add so much confidence to a guy like Buddy to know that the guy that's basically running the operation is saying, listen, we're going to go out there and win this thing. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty cool for him. And I tell you what, our next guest, one of our next guests, has a lot of experience in winning championships, world championships at that, with the CRG factory team overseas. Enough said about that. Euan, Jeffery, and Aden Rudolph joining us here on the show. Boys, welcome to the show, first of all. And before you guys start to try to talk, you guys are muted, by the way. So just before you guys start trying, how are you guys doing tonight? You guys are at the shop. Good evening to you guys.
Good evening. Good evening.
Hey, guys.
Well, good to see both of you. And I guess Euan, congrats on the World Championship this past weekend with Ethan Jeff Hall. I know you guys are obviously the U.S. team, but I mean, how good is that to see the product you guys are behind on the top step on a world level?
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah.
Now, we've had a few years, obviously, not being on top, and it was definitely a long time coming, and it was needed. And
yeah.
In the end, it proves that the product's good on a worldwide scale. In the car, everything's good. Team's working well. Everything's going good.
Yeah, for sure. And Euan, I kind of want to take you back to, I guess, last year. Your brand has grown a lot, especially in the regional market. You see a lot of more CRG chassis kind of hit the racetrack every time that we go out to another Texas event. How's the growth of the product been in Texas and across the regional market, especially for you? I know more and more teams are coming on board, as well as more and more drivers as well.
No, the growth, we're super happy with the growth at this moment in time. We changed a little bit the strategy and everything going into this year. And we decided to concentrate a little bit more on the regional and local markets to help build up the presence, at a lower level, because at the end of the day, kart racing, to grow it, we need to start at the foundation, So in the end, obviously we put the team back together and everything, the Nordam team back together to get started to concentrate on all the regional races. And, I couldn't have asked for a better start. We went out first race, we won in NOLA, and then, to be honest, the results have continued to be good throughout the year. So, we're super, super happy with the progress. The new people that we've got on board, the new teams we've got on board, and, in the end, we treat them like family. And we're happy to have everybody on the product. And the interest at this moment in time, obviously, it helps with results like the World Championships and everything. It shows that the product's good, and we're also happy because we're able to give the people here, obviously in Texas and outside of Texas, across the states, a good service now.
Yeah, for sure. And Aden, I guess for you as well, to find yourself in a position where you are this year compared to where you were last year, it's a little bit of a big swing. Last year, going into the final round, you hadn't even had a podium on the year, and then this year you've been a race winning contender every single weekend, and every single time that you hit the racetrack, you're the guy that everybody has their stopwatches on. So I guess, how's the year been for you? And your lowest finish this year, I think, has been a second place, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, I think that's correct, Kaleb. And this year's been phenomenal. Not even for me, but just the whole team in general. Always finishing up front in every class, and especially for me, having the backing I've had this year and the support I've had this year has definitely given myself a boost of morale and a boost of confidence going into every race that we're able to run up front, and we've definitely shown that this year, and I'm super excited to finish the year out strong.
Yeah, for sure. And Euan, I guess going back to you, I guess when you talk about championships, this is I guess the marquee class or whatnot that we have. But you guys have won a lot already on the year. You guys won the IKF Grand Nationals, obviously with Aden. We talked to him after that. But you find yourself in this position, and I think you found yourself in a lot of world championship positions. You were on that team where Max Verstappen was the world champion. You were a big part of that when you were the team manager in that. But I guess, how does this compare? There you have the picture from Alex. I
was about to actually pull it up. That's so cool.
That was a few ago.
Yeah, but I guess, how does this compare? Because it's different. You've kind of grown the CRG Nordam program from the ground up since you guys started over here in the States.
I'll be honest with you. When you're in the position where you have to run a team, you have to promote a brand, you have to push your brand forward and everything. May it be a world championship, may it be the final round of the Texas Sprint Series.
Mm-hmm.
They all have importance, and okay, yeah, we're not on a world scale, but it's a very, very important championship to win for any team or any driver, because this year especially, obviously, Brittany with the TSRS, it's done a I'd say it's evolved even more than previous years, and it's grown, and I think it's growing in the right direction. And I spoke to Brittany, to Neil, and everybody, even halfway through this year, and I said I'm super happy, and I'm super happy to be a part of the series growing, because it's providing numbers like national races. Mm-hmm. So in the end, I think it's one of these things that everybody talks about, going national racing and stuff. But to be fair, we've got national racing pretty much in our backyard, and it's really good, because it's one of these things that's good for karting in general, that this whole sport can grow, especially in Texas, because Texas has always been a strong place for karting. But recently now, with the new tracks coming in, there's a lot of new improvements on tracks. NTK have just reopened their new track.
Yeah.
Speed sports and everything. It's really, really good, because it's bringing on karting in general. And like I said, maybe Texas Sprint Series, maybe a world championship. Any championship you go for is important. Yeah,
no, definitely. And Aiden, I'm going to start with you on the questions. I got questions for both of you guys, but last year you had the pace, and I think like there would be races where you put it on pole, you kind of fade it back. Certainly winning pole at Supernats is a great accomplishment, but it seems like this year, whether it be the national stuff that you've dabbled into, or also the regional stuff in this championship, you kind of found a more consistent baseline. And I guess with that, what's kind of been the adjustment of mindset, not just from last year to this year, but also the last like 2 or 3 years? How's the approach you've taken to karting and the approach you've taken to racing changed since you came into senior, you came in 2022, having had the pace really all 3 years?
Yeah, definitely. This year, especially, I've taken a more professional approach. Definitely working here gives me that sight of this is kind of a job now, and I have to get the best results possible. Even there's not much pressure that goes into this type of stuff, but you definitely want to perform to the max and get the product up front. So definitely this year I've taken more professionally, and results don't lie. Material is great this year, obviously, and I just keep pushing and hopefully keep the results going.
And I mean, again, you've kind of you've been working, and you've sort of seen the back end side of it. And I mean, you're someone that's been around the kart track for a long time, a long amount of your life. And I guess how much has that shaped how you view a race like today versus someone that maybe hasn't been either behind the scenes every day or hasn't been kind of around the paddock for as long as you have been?
Yeah, I mean, seeing the behind the scenes of the work that goes into each race weekend, not only just the material that has to get built, or the making everything look as good as possible and also perform to the same standard. It's definitely cool to be behind the program and understand the importance of every little detail. That's what gets people under the tent, and that's what gets gets the best results. So that's what we all aim for these days, and especially getting a different look at it compared to I've never experienced something like this. So it's definitely cool to be behind the program. And
you never experienced my OCD.
Yeah, his OCD,
yeah, and that was
OCD, my OCD. We connect really well, and it's super cool. So
I was the next thing I was about to ask you guys, because you guys have been working together, I think, every day for just about 6 or 7 months now. Because I know Aiden's been working at the shop with you, Euan. But have you guys grown tired of each other? Have you guys, do you guys ever get tired of each other at any given point? I guess on a lighter note here.
No, I wouldn't really say tired, because to be fair, it's like coming into work with a different person every day. Because he just walked in tonight into the office and he's got a mullet, he's got a beard, stuff. I saw him like a day ago, and he had a decent haircut, and he went full man on me,
Aiden,
you're I guess, how's your year been working with Euan in the shop and with the racing team?
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. I haven't grown tired of him yet. And every day is definitely a new challenge. He teaches me things every day. I learn something new every day, and it's cool to it's cool to be pushed in a certain discipline that things get done a certain way, and that's the best way to do it. And that's how things should be done. And it's fun to learn from him. And I've learned a lot this year. Him being a father figure almost this year. Not only on the track but off the track too. Just growing me as a person in general.
Speaking of growing
ahead.
tired of somebody, Aiden, have you ever met a guy who loves Texas more than Kaleb?
These cats.
No.
I
mean, I don't personally. I don't like Texas. I'm from Arizona, so Arizona's 10 times better than Houston. That's for sure. I mean, I haven't lived in different parts of Texas, but Texas is not my number one choice of a place to stay.
You should ask Euan that. Euan obviously lived in Italy and Scotland and now in Texas. I guess where do you rank Texas from where you've lived prior, Euan?
Listen, I've done that much traveling in my life now, and just like traveling all over the world with the races and everything. And I don't know, I'm a firm believer that it's not just one place that you say this is the best place. The place is what you make it. So I'm a firm believer I could move to Dallas tomorrow morning and I'd still love Dallas. So it's not
Dallas is probably better than Houston,
but in the end, I think it's one of those things that the place is what you make it.
Yeah, and I guess nextly for me here, it was just announced, I think 2-3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, that Speed Sports Racing Park was coming on board as a CRG dealer. Euan on eKarting News and on y'all's CRG Nordum website. So I guess you have I guess the son as the driver now, but you and Alan are working together now on distributing go-karts out of Speed Sports Racing Park. So if you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, we it's been good this year, obviously with the Aden link, call it. It's been really good. Even I've known Alan for a long time, and it's been really good actually getting to know him even better. Obviously working a lot closer with Aden, and just sometimes even changing notes about him, and changing kind of things. But in the end, I'm super happy that we've managed to strike the deal with Alan and kind of start getting things moving forward. And we couldn't have got off to a better start, because the first month that Alan we did all the deal and we did the press release and everything. The first month that Alan was going, he sold a boatload of cards, which was the aim of the game of the whole kind of business side of it. So as far as that goes, we're all happy about it.
That's good.
I got you. And I mean, again, you look at kind of the scaling of a kart team and a kart operation with the manufacturer, Euan, and you mentioned earlier that you kind of reevaluated your strategy and gone more towards the local and regional side of things. But ultimately, kind of with that in mind, looking at how the path has gone over the last year, how do you assess the success of that to this point, and what do you think kind of the scalability of it is going forward in the next year or so? Are you going to look to expand into more or with more dealers across the country, or are you kind of more localized at this point for the foreseeable future?
No, I think at this moment in time, we're talking about growth over the United States. So I'm always in continuous talks with various, proposed new dealers and everything. And, we've even got some good things in the pipeline already for next year. So it's not one thing that just because we are concentrating more on the local market, it's the fact that we're based here in Houston that we can concentrate on the local market, And I think moving forward in the future, we're still branching out. We're still, moving forward with other prospects and new dealers and everything. And, it's going to be one of these things where, you need to have a strong foundation below what you're building. If not, it topples. So, that's the aim of the game at the moment. We're continuing to push forward. We did some selected national races this year with the team. Next year, we will also do some selected national races, but obviously concentrating with the Texas thing as well. The good thing is we've got other options as well, because we're going to have teams that will be doing stars next year. We'll have teams doing the Scooter races. I'm not sure about USPKS yet, but that's kind of later to be kind of seen. But I'm quite happy with the progress at this moment in time. And then we're going to have an option for any drivers that want to do any other races. It's one of these things that are good. The other good thing is that we've got the strong European link that we can just make a phone call, and any driver can even go across to the factory and race and do the races like that. We've got obviously Vincent Cossart. He's actually flying to Portugal on Thursday, and he's going to be doing a 2-day test in Portimao in Portugal, like ahead of the World Championship. Next week, he'll be doing the Champions of the Future race, the warm-up race, call it, for the World Championship. And then 2 weeks after, he's going to be going back to do the actual World Championship, and already like that kind of thing. It was a phone call. I spoke with Mr. Giannini, the big boss. We organized it in about 10 minutes on the phone. Vincent booked his flight and he went. It's super simple because the relationship that we have, I'm lucky because I've worked for CRG for 20 plus years now. So I picked up the phone, I called, Giancarlo, and I said to him, listen, Vincent's coming across to do the race. We need it fully organized. He'll be across then, and he's going to be doing this, and this. And it was done, and that's how simple it is, and that's how simple it can be. So, the same goes for any of the other races that we want to do.
Absolutely.
Aiden, when are we going worldwide, dude?
Aiden, when are we going worldwide? That's a question for this guy. No, I mean, we had talks about it earlier this season, and things just didn't fall into place really. And we're totally happy where we are standing in the States right now. And, we're, finishing out the season pretty strong. So, Vegas is as close as me and him can get to a worldwide event this year.
What are you talking about? You're going to Newcastle to do the 4-cycle.
Oh, the CKNA. Yeah. Besides CKNA, Vegas is probably the worldwide event for us.
You laughed. That was no diss. I'll be honest with you. The CKNA Grand Nationals, that's probably my favorite race of all year.
I'm excited. I've never
Yeah,
done
cool.
so I'm excited to see, how things shake out, and I'm excited to race that race. So
Is that your first time? Is that your first time doing the Grands?
yeah, never.
Dude, it's a cool event.
Yeah.
So you, and on that note, I guess what was the thought process of having a guy like Aiden, and I think having your whole team go out there as well, right? A full tent for you at CKNA. So I guess what was I know you were having you had or still have a close relationship with Marshall Martin and the entire LSR team, but I guess what's the thought process behind having you and yourself as a brand, and I guess your Cattell tent out there and whatnot out there for that weekend?
I think it's more just really about presence and everything, because we're going to have, I don't know how much square feet of tent set up, but the good thing is it's all going to be filled. And the good thing is it's all about the presence and the volume and everything. And Marshall, for all the 4-cycle races, Marshall's done a great job over the years. He's a CRG loyal, for forever, And even his team LSR, they're so passionate about the racing. And the good thing is the 4-cycle thing, it is done at a slightly lower level than certain races, but it's very enjoyable and it's also very competitive. And and I've seen it over the years. So many 2-cycle drivers jump in and say, and they start laughing, they joke, and then when they get,
I might have done that.
When they get handed a plate, when they go out there, they're like, oh, this is actually serious. We did it. The first year that Austin Garrison did the CKNA, he was there with me. And I was literally wrenching for Austin, and we just went up there, just me and him pretty much. And he was fast. He was super, super fast. But at the start, I don't think he expected it to be that competitive, But in the end, it's one of these things. Once you do it once, you get the experience, and you're like, wow, this is actually quite serious,
Yeah.
It's such a cool race.
And I think Paulie was with you whenever you took him out there as well, right?
Yeah.
With Marshall and those guys. So I guess whenever you had Paulie under your tent, I know he's kind of gone and done the rest of it. Well, how was it like whenever you had Paulie, I guess, on the FS4?
No, but even there, Paulie was super fast. We had a little bit of an engine issue, and we ended up getting a motor off Brandon Jarchakrak. Obviously him and Paulie are very good friends.
Yeah.
It didn't go very well in the end for other reasons, but in the end, Paulie was super fast even through the 4-cycle races as well. But it was a similar thing with Paulie. Everybody was joking around at the start, and then it gets super serious. That's just the 4-cycle racing. But it's one of these things that it's about preparation more than anything. And Timmy was on before, and Timmy's done a lot with the 4-cycle stuff as well. And most of the 4-cycle stuff, like the 2-cycle stuff, comes down to preparation, that the motor's prepped good. And because at the end of the day, a freshly built motor against a slightly used motor, it could be that 1/10. But, 1/10 in the 4-cycle, it could be that 1/10's a lot, because there's not as much horsepower, there's not as much anything. It's very, very close. The smallest of changes make the biggest difference, and that's one of the enjoyable parts about the 4-cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so, Aiden, I got to ask on your end then, what do you think about racing 116 people? Is it sounds pretty daunting, eh?
Yeah, I mean, the number sounds big, but, qualifying on pole at Supernats last year, I was leading the grid to the green every heat race, right? So, our heat races were 45 people. I think we had like 90 entries in total. So, the level, I don't want to dawn too much on 206 racers, but, the level of KA would be a little bit higher in Supernats, you think. And, having that experience, I don't think there's too much pressure involved with 116 drivers or whatever. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know how many people make it to the final, but,
it was like 60.
Okay. So like half or so go away. Right. And,
yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be too bad. I'm comfortable in those type of situations, and, I don't really get nervous in that sort of way anymore.
I'm just thinking the first heat race, someone's gonna listen to this podcast. They're gonna take it completely out of context. You're getting walled on lap 1 straight to LCQ, buddy.
Hopefully no LCQ that weekend, but
I think I think if Kaleb was out there, he probably would have
this guy, bro.
There's a funny little joke right now. Our laptop is propped up on my 206 race motor for CKNA right now. So,
nice.
It's bringing us some good luck. So.
Yeah, but the question I was going to ask earlier that was kind of more on a lighthearted note is, what was behind the whole Eminem look that you had earlier in this year, rocking the Slim Shady haircut?
I'll be completely honest. I was on vacation in Arizona with my sister, and we went and saw the brand new Hunger Games movie. And at that time on TikTok, on social media, it was kind of the trend. It was kind of thing to do. I don't know if it was involved with the Hunger Games movie, but we went and saw it. And that night I told her I'm buzzing my hair and we're bleaching it. So we did that night. I didn't tell my parents or anything. And it was a pretty fun surprise when I came back home to Houston, a few days later. I didn't tell them. And, I posted a funny TikTok about it. And, it was a funny reaction, and there was really no basis behind it. I didn't think it looked too bad. Now looking back at it, I would never do it again. But now I can finally say I did it and got it out of my system. And, I get bored of my hairstyle, obviously, often. So, I like to switch things up, and, I'm not afraid to, lose a little bit of dignity or whatever with that different hairstyle.
Yeah.
So.
I've heard your dad was the same way back in the day. Whenever he used to, I've heard a lot of things from people around. Yeah,
he's had afros. He's had everything you can imagine. Right,
frosted tips. I heard he was well known for the frosted tips. I don't know if you knew him whenever he was running for PSL CRG back in the day, but
I think I remember this back in like 2013 or so.
Yeah,
probably.
It looked good on him. He can rock anything.
I'm still young.
Yeah, right.
I was gonna say that's twice in the last year now that I've gone to the grid like on one of these practice days, and I'm like, who in the world is this guy? Because he just rocks up with a bleached haircut. I didn't see the TikTok or anything. I'm like, man, what happened to Aden?
No. Wow, thanks, Emory. Jesus.
No, I have to say now, I think the current cut beats that out quite a bit. So
thank you. Euan doesn't like it that much, so.
It's improvement.
This is like 3-4 tenths on track. So whatever makes me
fast. That's what I'm saying. You got to reduce aerodynamic efficiency for CKNA. So you got it.
It'll take me a day to get used to it, and then afterwards I'll see him coming in the door. But
what are the thoughts on the beard then, Euan? For Aiden?
I'm not a fan of the beard.
He had a bit of a scrub before this. He had to go shave it off before the camera.
Yeah,
so.
but I don't know. I'm not a big fan.
Aiden wins.
I'll read this by Matt Doso. If Aiden wins grands, Euan bleaches his hair.
Euan would never. We'll shake our hands on it.
Listen, the last time I bleached my hair, I must have been like 15 or 16 years old.
I think Kaleb should bleach his hair personally.
Nah.
I've got light hair anyway.
There you go.
Not bad.
Yeah. All right. So I guess on the note of changing things up and reactions of whatnot of changing things, you guys have probably both heard about the new track changes made to Amarillo. Honest thoughts about I guess the new layout change, and I guess I'll pull up the graphic for you guys here again. Euan, we'll start with you. You obviously have seen the track, I guess, kind of progress. What are your thoughts on the new layout and adding a hairpin here to the last section?
I think adding in a corner, I think it's probably a good thing. The way the corner is, I'm not sure. Until you see a go-kart going around it, it's going to be very hard to give my full opinion. You know, the only thing that worries me is where they're going to do the starts. Or how they're going to do the starts, because that was the only thing that was a little bit sketchy when we went there for IKF Grands.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure where they're going to be doing the starts yet, but that's the only thing. But, you know, hats off to Kyle and his brothers and everything. I'm up at Amarillo, because to be fair, you can't bash anything because they put in a lot of effort. Even if the corner's not great or it's great, you know, they've put in so much effort over the last year getting everything up to speed. You know, we'll see what it's like, and we'll see how it races.
Yeah.
Aden, you obviously raced the pass layout. How are you feeling, I guess, with the new final corner here being added to the racetrack?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind it at all. I mean, as a racer, as a driver, you know, you want to turn as much as possible. You want as much challenge as there is on the track. Amarillo is already a pretty fun track for me. I love that place, and you know, adding a new element to it's going to be fun. And you know, the only thing that kind of worries me is, you know, a lot of people go off track on the exit of that last hairpin after that long straightaway. And, you know, I'm curious what would happen if, you know, someone went off the track and runs through those barriers in front of the field, or, you know, something like that. Those are kind of the questions you have to ask yourself when you're Kyle or when you're Brittany, or, you know, people like that have say in things like this. But other than that, it looks fun. It looks cool. I'm excited. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, the original Istanbul F1 track, that's the layout. They had a chicane at the end of the track, and you know, Amarillo, when they was building it, they didn't have it, obviously. And you know, so I don't think it'll be I think it'll be a new challenge, and you know, it'll take, you know, the experienced guys a lap or two to, you know, adapt to it, and you know, it'll be fun, and I'm curious how it'll race, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, and Euan, I think you brought up a really good point on you know, where we're going to start the races, because obviously they were starting them on the back straight for IKF Grand Nationals, and then I think, and correct me if I'm wrong here, I think it would almost be better to start them in that turn 1-2 chicane, because of how slow, you know, you're or with how, I guess, how, you know, you don't have a lot of speed going into that corner now, especially with the new tires. I think as well is going to provide a lot of people to get through. And I just want your thoughts on it, on where do you think these races could be started this weekend?
Think the only issue could be the classes where there's bigger numbers, like for instance, the K100 Senior, when you've got maybe 30 plus drivers.
Yeah.
The only bad thing is that by the time people are taking the green flag, you're still going to be people nearly coming around the last corner.
Yeah.
But I do agree with having the starts there, because they're going to be going at a slow pace getting to that first chicane now. And plus, I'd say it might be a bit safer. There's a bit runoff. You can go off, you know, just in case. It's not an easy call to take where they're going to do the starts or how they're going to do the starts. And for sure, it's one of these things, whoever makes the call, if it's Brittany that's making the call, there's never going to be, you know, 100% of people on board. But it's one of these things that you just got to take the best call you can, and you know, we also just got to race it, you know.
Yeah. I mean that's the same point, is, you know, everyone's racing the same track, everyone starts in the same spot. So, you know, there's going to be people that are negative towards whatever anyone says, you know, whatever feedback or whatever, you know, initiative that they take to, you know, change the track or whatever. So there'll always be negatives, but it's as a racer's standpoint, you know, everyone's racing the same thing. So at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So I guess to end things off here with you guys, and again, we appreciate you guys coming on, but same question. We kind of asked Tim here at the end of it, and asked Buddy as well. How are you boys feeling coming into this weekend? Aden, you find yourself within a shot to, you know, become a senior regional race winner finally in your home state of Texas. And Euan, on your return back to the regional racing scene, on your return back with CRG Nordum with y'all's team, you guys find yourselves again within a shot to win a championship. So thoughts coming into this weekend, boys, and the floor is all yours.
Yeah, I mean, I would be dumb to not say we're going into this weekend to win. And that's that's the idea behind every weekend, is to get the best result possible. Obviously, there's different scenarios that do play out, but at the end of the day, you're always pushing to your maximum. And every session, you want to go out there and be the fastest go-kart out there. So, it'd be dumb for me to say I'm not going out there to win. That's the plan, and that's our plan, not even just for my class, but, we're leading the KA junior class with David DeBarra. And at the end of the day, we're all going to be fast, and, it just goes down to the wire. And, that's kind of what excites me. And that's what kind of gets me fired up about weekends like this, is it's down to the wire, and it'll be super exciting and super entertaining to watch.
Euan?
I'm excited. I'm super excited for this weekend. And, it's one of these things, and Aiden can even tell you, even I'm kind of in the shop, I'm a different person from at the track. And then I'm super, 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 on Aiden all the time for the organization thing, because I want everything to be perfect. I'm a firm believer when everything's perfect, leaving from home, it works at the track, and we're lucky because the motors are good, the cart's good. We've got a really good package, and we're super, super happy with all the material this year. And, I think a lot of it comes down to how well prepared you are coming from home. And I'm coming into this race and I'm super confident because, I feel prepared, so in that respect, I would never ever say we're not going to win, because it's one of these things. We are 100% going to win, and we're going to take home as much as we can, Sorry, Timmy, but you ain't coming home with 6, buddy. In the end, we are going 100% at it, and we're going to go and win,
I think especially on my part, Amarillo's always treated me well, and I've always succeeded there. Every single time I go there, I'm always finishing up front, and, it's a place I love to drive. And, I think I have the edge on my competitors, and, it'll be a fun weekend. So.
Well, we, again, thank you guys for coming on. You, one more thing.
Hey, Kaleb, I will say this, though. It's actually been quite good fun this year, because obviously away from the karting thing and everything, Tim and I are good friends as well.
Yeah.
It's actually been quite cool this year, just to have some competitiveness between, his trackside team and our team and everything. And it's actually been a really good year between, Tim's team and my team. And it's been really good having some good competitive banter along the way. And it's been good fun.
Yeah, Tim's super competitive as well, and I was talking to him on the phone, and he was like, "Are me and Euan coming on at the same time?" And I was like, "No, we're gonna have you guys separate." He's like, "Oh, why? Like, I want to be on at the same time."
Yeah, I asked him the same question. I went, we're on at the same time. I said, "Let's go."
Yeah. And then whenever I obviously called Aiden to kind of prep him as well, he's like, "We're on at the same time, right?" And I was like, "No, you guys are gonna do it separately." He's like, "Why? Like, let's do it together, like whatnot." And I was like, that would be fun, but we couldn't get what we got out of this and got what we got out of with Tim, having 6-7 people on at the same time. So, but either way, it was good chatting with you guys, and always a good time, and it's been long overdue. But thank you guys for coming on the show, Aiden, for your second time on the year, and Euan as well. We could spend hours talking to you guys and on what both you guys have done, but 40 minutes is gonna have to do for the weekend. But best of luck to you guys, on what's going to be a good championship battle. For us three boys, we're going to stick around for one more segment after this quick commercial break. But that's it from CRG Nordham's Aiden, Rudolph, and Euan, Jefferey.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Chat to you soon, Kaleb.
Thank you.
Yeah, see you guys soon.
Brandon, why are there all these charges for just over $200 from Acceleration Kart Racing's website?
That's because AKR gives you free shipping on orders of $200 or more within the continental US.
Okay, but I thought you were just getting a pair of gloves. That's what, $70?
But if I'm getting a new pair of gloves, I might as well get a new pair of shoes to match. And then on top of that, I'll get a neck brace, because with the shipping, it's basically free.
Yeah, I do not think the math checks out on that.
Everything you need, all in one place, and shipped to your door for free for orders of $200 or more. Exclusions apply. Spend responsibly. Shop AKR.com.
Well, there you guys have it. The stage is pretty much set for an Old Western Duel in Amarillo Kart Complex, way west than what we're used to. Boys, obviously, you guys haven't joined us for many of the rounds of the Texman Racing Series. Emory, you joined us for one last year. Alex could have joined us for one. 2? Oh, that's true. NTK and okay, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Alex is yet to come to an event. ever. So he did have the opportunity to come and announce and work a camera
He
this
just
week,
hates
and
the state of Texas, man.
he just turned it down. We have good
He
weather.
hates
I just love the
Texas.
state. I just love the state of Florida. That's what it is.
Okay, all righty, pal.
I can't leave my AMR boys hanging. You know.
Yeah, true. And good showing by one of your AMR was this past weekend as well.
Shout
man.
out Lennox
Good
Lockhart.
Shout out, Lex. Best part of the weekend was him celebrating in the scale line.
That was the
100%.
cutest thing ever, man. Yeah, for sure. But hey, you guys, I mean, heard it there from Tim. He said it. We're in it for 6, and we're gonna come out with 6. And then you heard it from you and Jeffrey. He said, "Sorry, Tim, you're not gonna come out with anything this weekend." You know, and it's friendly banter in between the two of them. You know, they've been longtime friends and as well. So I guess final thoughts coming into this weekend, boys. You guys have, I guess, been on the outside looking in with a different perspective. But what are your thoughts about this final round from hearing from these team owners and drivers? Alex, we'll start with you.
I mean, I'm excited to watch it. Obviously, I'll be at Homestead coaching, so I'll be watching for sure because championship battles are awesome. And after listening to 2 team owners not go after it, but separate interviews, give their opinions, and they both think they're going to win, which they should think they're going to win. You heard Aden as well. I mean, he said it'd be silly to think that he can't win, and then Buddy obviously thinks he's going to win as well. So I'm excited. Those two put on a good show for us all year long, and I think we're going to have some great racing. I think that new chicane is going to add a bit of spiciness to the races. We're going to have a new passing zone, a new brake zone, and like you mentioned, I mean, it's going to make the starts more interesting as well. So I think it's just going to add a little wrench in things to where you're going to have to figure it out. I think, like Aiden said, we're all drivers. They're going to figure it out fast. The corner itself is not the issue, but I think not the issue is the wrong word, but not like it's not going to be a difficult thing to go out there and learn for these drivers. But I think just having to navigate a new corner and having to, have a new defensive opportunity or a new passing opportunity, it's going to add a passing zone. And anytime you add passing zones on a championship weekend, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, for sure. And talking about the track layout as well, I think the safety of it as well is probably the biggest thing, because somebody did unfortunately get hurt there at the IKF Grand National. So I think that's another big thing for the track layout, which is going to be good. And again, Tim Lobaugh finds himself this weekend with 2 championship battles at hand, one with Reagan Seville, and the other, obviously, he finds himself in 6, I should say, with the cadet kids, but he finds himself in both of the ones with both of the senior championships. Emory, you've also been on the outside looking in this year. Thoughts coming into this weekend on both, I guess, the 206 championship and the two-stroke championship in K.
Yeah, you see, I had a bit of a spiel lined up for the KA championship, but before I do that, shout out Bryce Frank Racing, no 206 love.
We did
Bryce,
give him love.
Yeah, Bryce currently leads the championship with drops by, I believe, a grand total of 1 point over Reagan Seville. So this is going to be a fun championship battle, and I hope it gets properly covered throughout the weekend. But if anything, the amount of parity in the 206 class this year has been really impressive to watch. I think that's going to be an open championship fight as well, and depending on how they do, you could even see the likes of Cameron Reed possibly get into as well as possibly Kelvin Zing. So I think there's 4 drivers mathematically in that championship, 2 with a good shot at it, almost dead even. Definitely Team KC with Bryce Frank Racing. Reagan Seville also should be one to watch, certainly, with both sides of it going at it.
Yeah, the rookie's been impressive. Rookie's been impressive, to say the least.
No, it's been awesome to see from Reagan. So I think it's going to be fun to watch from the 2 of them. On the KA side, though, I have to say this is as excited as I've been about a championship battle since my own championship battle last year. I think as kind of both of them said, you have to go into it thinking that you're going to win. On Aden's side of it, he has a bit of a more uphill battle to climb. Even the championship deficit is only 30 points after drops. Essentially, to win the championship, Aden has to finish on the podium on Sunday because Jesus's drop is a P3 with good heat race points. So he has to get at least 280 points between the qualifying heat race final as well as the fastest lap. So for that to happen, it is certainly a lot, especially when you consider that there's other guys in the championship or in the race that don't factor into the championship. Guys like Billy Musgrave, Jake up front, our very own Xander Clements, could throw his hand in there as well. Peyton Phillips, like there's so many guys that could factor in the top 3. So it's not a foregone conclusion that, it's all going to come down to this race, but certainly the two of them have had a great season so far on both ends. Trackside Cuttering Services, CRG Nordam, they've got their operations firing on all cylinders. I think we're going to see a great championship battle. For the record, I definitely think it would tend to favor Jesus just because of the lead he comes in with, and kind of having to be perfect. That strength makes it difficult for Aden, but I mean, that's two Titans going at it. I think we're going to see some good racing. I'm going to be tuned in as much as I can this weekend. I hate I couldn't stay high to the great state of Texas this year. It's been unfortunate. As much as I know I will never admit that to Kaleb. Out of all the years to miss TRS, this would have been one of the ones to have gone. But, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. But I'll be tuning in. I'll be watching our live coverage this weekend, and I can't wait to see how the K championship battle shapes out, how the 206 championship battle shapes out, how our boy Big Red does this weekend, and, how the new section of the Amarillo karting circuit pans out, because, Istanbul, one of my favorite F1 circuits from what I've seen from Amarillo race as well. And, I can't wait to see the action this weekend.
Well, with all that being on this week, on Sunday, championship battle, Jesus Vasquez Jr., Aden Rudolph, and then again in 206 Senior with Reagan Seville and Bryce Frank. Well, from all of us here at KC Grid Talk, it's been a good episode number 27. A round of applause to that for us here. But signing out on today's episode, and we thank you all guys for joining us. We'll see you next time.